let's roll that intro sequence one last time. Well, hello, everybody out there on the internet. We are very excited to be sitting down to record an epilogue for Campaign 2, which is like Season 4 of the First Watch, all about the Balancers. It's been an incredible journey playing with these characters, and we are really happy with the episodes we were able to release, but as time and life changes, there was some content that didn't end up getting edited that we still loved filming, we still loved playing the game, and we figured it'd be a nice way to kind of put a bow on everything by just kind of talking a little bit about where the story went after episode 30 and reflecting on our characters. So one last time, I'm going to popcorn around. My name is Andrew Coons. I'm the Dungeon Master for our adventures. And it's been such a pleasure to have these wonderful players, minus an Uranus, a KC tonight, but we'll hear from him later. I'm going to throw it to Dana.
Hi, I'm Dana. You can find me on the internet at Dana Eloise. And I played Artemis, your favorite Aasimar bard. And I'm going to pass it to...
No!
Cheryl. Gotta keep the tradition going.
My brain started to be like, what? And then I was like,
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Hi, I'm Cheryl. You can find me on the internet as the Roving Naturalist, and I played Pry, your favorite tiefling fighter. It's close to true.
It's close to true. It's
yeah,
close to true.
Yeah, I'll send it to Blake.
Hello everybody, I'm Blake, and I played as Grokus Darkbringer. What was I playing? It's been so long.
Classic
I think
Grokus.
it was a dwarf who was a warlock. Yep. There we go, a dwarf warlock.
No. Yeah.
Also close enough.
Close. And take us home, Darby.
Hi, my name is my name is Darby. I was playing Peony, your beloved dragonborn artificer sorcerer.
Sure. Cool. All right. Sounds good. So
you got
our
some of it.
we got some of it everywhere. Yeah, everybody had like one piece that was correct. Yeah. So where the story kind of ended in terms of our released content was with episode 30, I'm Not What I Once Was, which saw the conclusion of the arc where Artemis was killed by the Beholder, and then the party avenged her, took her body, went to another plane of existence to retrieve her soul through the use of some magic and science, and then we saw kind of her change and be someone new after coming back and head off into a different direction, as that character at that point in the story left the story for a while, but did come back later, as we'll recap. Just before I give kind of like the big, like, here's where the story went, I'm curious, Dana, like, this was your first D&D campaign, and you went through a character death and a character resurrection and then stepping away and bringing in a new character. Like, you got like the whole experience. And what was what was telling that part of her story like? And is there anything about that kind of really sticks out to you?
Telling that part of her story was really like emotional for me, even though like I know that, you know, her dying was definitely not on the cards. I don't think anybody saw it coming. So to go through that character death and then have her come back, I wasn't even sure I was gonna bring her back. Like probably not even until the last second. So to see her die, come back, and kind of take a step away from the group, I think I, just like her, kind of needed to process that. And I just wanted to try something kind of outside of my wheelhouse. Yeah.
Well, that takes us to where the story went, because the very next thing that happened was the introduction of your new character, Izzy, who was a bard, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, she was a bard. High elf, little bit of a shit.
Yep.
Actually, yeah, I think that's an understatement. Yeah, a little bit of an understatement.
Lot of character, lot of spunk, and also a history with Uranus. Yes. So we got some steamy moments. We got some kind of party tension, and then so she was kind of with everybody on the journey, and eventually led to a betrayal, which we'll talk about. I don't want to talk ad nauseum, but I have my list here of kind of the plot points. So I'm going to run through them real quick for everybody, and then we'll start to get into some individual stuff. So the next thing that happened in our story was the introduction of Izzy, and then very quickly after that, we had a family reunion as Pry's father showed up, doing some business in Floros, and that we explored the tension in that relationship as he was a little surprised at the direction she had taken with her career, as he would have put it. And she was very kind of reticent to like let him in, and just a whole bunch of fun family drama. He ended up hiring the group to go out on an expedition with him to investigate some magical stuff that was going on in the countryside. So we got to explore. We went into some forests and dealt with some sentient trees, and then we found like a really cool like weird, I think it's cool, I made it, weird like air disturbance that was happening, all sorts of fun stuff. All of that ended up leading to a confrontation, though, with Uranus's patron, Fred, who it was revealed to be a demigod by the name of Frised the Tyrant, a follower of Stith, and a kind of continuation of that line of the story all the way back from season 1. You all had a huge fight with this shadow dragon that he turned into, which was a lot of fun to run. I remember there was like falling towers and all sorts of stuff going on. And in the middle of all of that is when Izzy's betrayal came in, right? Because there was like a MacGuffin or something that like she was going after and took, and was kind of listening to that voice of Frised, like asking her if she wanted power instead of Uranus. I know that it wasn't the plan initially to have her turn heel, but I think it wasn't very long into playing that we both realized like this would be a great character moment. And also, I think it was fairly quickly that you realized, hey, I do want to bring Artemis back at some point. Or
yeah, it was a lot of like, I don't think that this character's for me. I like tested the waters and I was like, yeah, I don't think she's for me, and I let you have her.
Yep, I ended up taking over.
Yep.
As an NPC, which was a fun transition.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in here, I do not remember the exact point, but our Joe, who was playing Malachite, was revealed that he's actually part of a secret order called the Red Feather. He was a spy this whole time. Not a bad one. He was still helpful to you all, but part of a secret organization. And then because of life and schedules, it wasn't too long after that Joe had to leave the game. I think came back a couple times here and there throughout the story. Mm-hmm. In the middle of all this, you ended up meeting Pro, the trickster goddess, who ended up becoming Uranus's new patron, now that he didn't have one from Frised. And then, and I'll pause here for a minute because this is a fun one. There was the return to Floros and the confrontation and inevitable battle against Elixio, the demonic character that had been messing with your lives and cutting deals, sometimes an ally, sometimes an enemy. I'd love to go around just real briefly, and like Elixio for me was like my favorite villain of the entire campaign. He was so much fun to play. He was so like gregarious and like just conniving. So that was a really fun like thing for me to play with. I'm curious for you all, like, how'd you feel about that moment when you finally got to give Elixio his due?
It was a fucking hell of a fight, if I recall correctly. Because you also had layer actions, I think?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It was, I mean, because it was also one of those things where it's like, we have to kill him, because if he talks to people, then we are fucked. Because we're so fight savvy. We're so punchy. No talkie good. No bueno. And this is like an official of the city who like
he ended up becoming like the head of commerce
because he killed that dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because he killed
Brobat
Silverleaf,
had that guy
I think.
killed.
Yeah, Silverleaf. He was a halfling.
Yes.
Yeah,
Silver
he got
Cloak.
his ass. Silver Cloak. Thank you. Silver something.
Yep.
But yeah, it was like, we have to kill him right now.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really wasn't a hardship on our part. We wanted him gone anyway.
His ass was grass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun battle. It was a fun battle, and you finally got rid of that enemy. And then the story took a turn back towards our dwarven cleric, as word of Grocus's mother and father, through the use of sending spells, came back to you all, and you realized that the huge mine shaft that had gone down was a tunnel that had dug down for the dwarves to hide away from the world after contracting vampirism, and you were able to find out that they were actually still alive, albeit the mother much more weak than the father. The father almost in like this denial state of like, everything's great, so good to hear from you, Grocus. I will say for me, the use of the sending spell that first time you guys did it, and just the kickoff of that whole story, was one of those DM panic-inducing moments where I was like, oh no, I didn't expect them to do that. But yeah, you ended up going down to the dwarven colony, and you fought some stuff to get down there, and found this almost like utopia-type society where they had cultivated crops like literal blood oranges to be able to survive, and there was this whole like council and whatnot, but the dirty secret was that a whole bunch of the population had been kept starved and in chains, including Grocus's mother. So everything was not as nice as it seemed. There was a huge battle. Oh no, we lost Dana. We'll get her back. There was this huge battle against the council and this whole thing to like free the dwarves and give them a choice of whether or not they would, return to the surface or live in the darkness. Grocus, Blake, like
it's my nickname.
One and the same, right? I'm just curious, like that whole act was incredibly emotional, I feel, and like had so much good RP, include, right hand in hand with the combat. What was that like for you to like finally see Grocus' story all the way through, to take this character who was like the grandpa of the group, but make him almost like a child again with his mom and dad? Was really fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but I do want to preface it by saying that it was all Darby's idea to do sending. Because Darby's like, hey, have you tried doing X, Y, and Z? And I was like, no. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. And it was cool, especially because I had no clue. Like, I thought they were dead. So for the longest time, they're just gone, it's fine. So to realize they're back and then be put back in the stage of being like a child again, because like your parents are there and like you're always going to be a child to like your parents. So it was like, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was emotional, but in a good way, because like, hey, if we have a chance to save them, they're still there. I remember the group thought my dad was evil for the longest time. It was like, why is he so chill? But but yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a really cool experience, especially gonna kind of, I know we're gonna talk about it, but kind of like help save well, not save them, but I mean give them a choice and save some of the dwarves too from like where they were.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a really cool way to see the whole party like come around you as well, and really just like take your mission and make it their mission, which I think was a really fun dynamic to see. And that's pretty much where the story ended. There were a couple of things to like loose ends that got wrapped up and whatnot. There was a nice cliffhanger of Peony being summoned to the castle by the king. And what might that mean, and where might the story go after that? But, you know, you always got to leave people wanting more and have a cliffhanger. So that's the story of the Balancers as was recorded. It was super fun to play. I'm so glad we were able to get 30 episodes out. We had originally planned for 12 to 15, so we doubled that amount, and I'm just really had a blast doing it. I've talked way too much. I think it'd be super great to hear from people about just like their reflections on the campaign as a whole and what they loved about playing their characters. Did they learn anything from playing their characters? And Cheryl, you get to go first. Throwing you on the spot.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess you sort of like pulled me in to help figure out what we were going to do with this from the beginning. So like, yeah, I was very excited about the campaign from the start and like finding who was going to play with us. Yeah, I think, I mean, every good D&D character has at least a little self-insert. So I got to explore some of Pry's like stuff with parents who, you know, have certain expectations. But it was also fun to be a rogue that subverts the like normal type, right? Like rogues are so often like the one who's chaotic and causing trouble or like very, you know, greedy or self-centered. And so it was fun to be like a rogue and also with the noble background, who was trying very hard to be like super giving and good and helpful and supportive of everyone else. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was like a highborn rogue. It had a really fun bent to everything for sure. Darby, Peony was a bundle of joy and chaos. I'm curious to just know, like, as you reflect back on playing her for quite some time, what are some of your favorite aspects? Is there anything that you learned about yourself through playing her?
I learned how much I'm like, wow, I really wish I could be more strategic and involved in the talky bits, because Peony was like, what's money? What this? Oh, who the fuck is that? Who's the king? Who that? What did I call Ustagai? I kept calling him Ustagai.
His name is Ustamin.
Yeah, Ustagai. She just straight up, but I did get to really like settle into the I love combat in D&D. There's something so fun about. I learned recently that RAW, RAW stands for rules as written. I thought it just meant raw, like fresh out the book, which I guess is technically kind of still the same. It still worked out. I still got what they meant. But like we didn't really do like a significant amount of homebrew. I just had like not really. So I did like just a really oddball build. Like Artificer Ranger cannot be said to be an optimal build, but I optimized within this weird little build.
You did.
Yeah, I just loved Peony. She was really fun. She just did not give a shit. Like, she's like, I don't fight stuff. We gotta go hunting. And she cared about her friends and people, but like when it came to like politics and like the intricacies of like Elixio like overtaking this like small government, she's like, can we just beat him up? Is that like allowed? Beat the shit out of him? Worked for her pretty much most of the time.
Our rogue was busy doing politics, so somebody had to step in to the chaos role.
Also, I loved having like a plus 15 to my perception.
I didn't love that.
You tell me you didn't like that?
That passive perception was brutal. Brutal.
Yeah. Now I just have passive insight.
Yeah. New character, still crazy optimized. Blake, Grokus probably, I would say, had the strongest like through line of story through the entire campaign, which wasn't necessarily my intent when we started, but I think it's just kind of the direction that the story like begged to go. I'm curious, just for you, like when you look back on the entire thing, like what are your reflections on Grokus and playing him and playing this devout man?
Yeah, Grokus was fun. I think I really enjoy just having, I guess, just helping like everybody. I guess like even like the regular people with like the spells I have. Like, you know what? Oh, I can go around just like healing people. Then why not? And so it's just fun to kind of like, I guess, as a matchup with that, like that power and what we can, all the help you could do all the time, even like the little ways. So it was a lot of fun to explore. And just it was fun being kind of a grumpy cleric. I love those kind of characters. So it's fun to get to play a character like that. A lot of fun. And the best part about Grokus too is that that you allowed me to play him in the beginning. I've told you before because like I remember I was like, hey, let's come with this idea. And you're like, well, you know, do you want to be a dwarf? I was like, yeah, I kind of want to. And you could have said no, but you let me until like, yeah. So just all around, a lot of fun. I love being a cleric.
The dwarves were supposed to be extinct, and I think you coming to play a dwarf, for me very much was like, okay, but what if? You know, that yes and mentality of like, what if they're not all extinct? Like, what does that do to my world and my story? And like, it was awesome. I loved it.
Dwarves are back, baby. But
They're
yeah,
back.
just fun. I love playing a cleric, and I love just like playing someone so like into like their faith and just like really kind of trying to, I don't know, just to be decent. So it was fun.
I think, and this is just like a personal note, like as a person of faith, it's always interesting to watch people play characters who are people of faith. And like, I always was very appreciative of the way you played it, where you were very, like you were very cognizant of the silly aspects and the piousness and the way it can be a little stilted sometimes. And yet there was a sincerity to it that I thought was actually very honoring of the idea of faith and religion. And so, that's not an easy thing to draw, to like toe the line on. And I just always appreciated that. That was really cool. I loved that aspect of his character for sure. Dana, you had probably maybe the second biggest like character journey, just because you died, you came back, you played another character, you came back again. But as you look back on Artemis throughout the campaign, what stands out to you, and did you learn anything from playing her?
I think I just love this like juxtaposition of this character that is like so quiet, kind of not on the meek side, but just very calm, and like her go-to spell is Fireball. That just I don't know, it just kind of speaks to like I guess the fiery passion she has inside of her. I don't know. Yeah, and for somebody that is like a cynic or came into it being a cynic, I don't think she expected to find love, and she found love. So it was really fun to kind of explore that, because I was not expecting my character to have a partner, and that, yeah, I loved that.
Azure had eyes for you right from the beginning. So did Patrick. So did many other NPCs.
Why?
Did Patrick find love in the end? Did Patrick find love?
Because everybody likes a tall glass of water,
No, he
Dana.
just screwed off to a cave and then died.
Why? Oh, he's dead.
Oh.
Like,
We'll tell you later.
Yeah, he's like
dead.
shish kebabbed by a big angel guy.
We have a lot to catch you up
He did
on.
live to like 100 gajillion years old, though.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
The sequel is always so brutal.
Justice for Patrick.
No.
And now we're going to throw it real quick to a clip to KC talking about Uranus, because he couldn't be here tonight, but I wanted him to still have a chance to chat. So take a look.
What's up, guys? It's KC. That is spelled KC, not CASEY. Nothing against those people. I am your resident Bard Lock Uranus. And what to say about the campaign? Technically, it's my second campaign because Grispin Hills was my first, but this is still my first group of D&D people that I'm playing with. It's my first ttrpg that I've gotten a chance to play, and it's been amazing being able to play with the same group for... You guys didn't get to see all of it, but we're going on like 5-ish years now of playing together, and it's just been a blast from start to finish. I wish you guys could have seen the rest of the Floros campaign, but Uranus is a god. I'm just throwing it out there. Uranus does end up being a god at the end on a nat 20 persuasion roll to get himself godhood. The biggest thing that I learned while playing Uranus is just how rewarding and attached you can become to these fake imaginary characters that you're just telling a story with your friend. Like when Artemis dies, I'm crying real tears because I'm like, we have to go get our friend back. And just all of the moments, having the nemesis in Mini, all of the moments with the cone of slimming. That's another thing that I've learned, is just how to be really creative with things. There's so much more that I don't get, I won't have enough time to talk about, but I just thank you guys for watching. It was an amazing experience, and hopefully you'll be around for the next thing that comes through on the first watch.
Oh my god, Casey, I can't believe you said that. You're recorded. That was on camera. Oh my god.
Brother.
Whoa. Whoa.
Says the person with the hottest hot mic in the group.
The hottest hot mic.
I learned.
Did
okay.
You've learned nothing.
I'm pretty sure not.
You have learned nothing. The amount of times I'm just skimming recordings and there's some curse I've never heard before. It's incredible.
Yeah, you said my voice was a jump scare. What about her?
So we also had some other people join our campaign. There was Joe, who was here for quite a while as a main character, as Malachite. Shannon, who joined us for the first arc and then came back for a little bit as Daisy May Abernathy. And then our lovely friend Jeremy Cobb, who came in to play his character Lamont Bonidoc, who was a reoccurring character to the First Watch world. Just real quickly, like, roundtable, like, thoughts on these other players and these other characters. And I think for me, Malachite was such a fun, like, kind of counterpoint to Peony, both being artificers, but Malachite a little bit more traditional, a little more, like, tech-minded. I always love playing with Shannon. Gonna do so again soon. Shannon brings such vibrant characters. And Daisy May, I think, brought a swagger and a fun that really helped kick the campaign off in a good way. And then for me, Jeremy and Lamont Bonidoc, just such a joy. He gets that voice going, and like he just transforms into this little guy. And I know from talking to him, he had ideas for this guy before the show. He'd never had a place to put him. And so I think he really enjoyed, I hope he really enjoyed, like, being able to unleash Lamont a little bit on the world. Any fun memories or thoughts from you all?
I miss Joe.
I miss Joe too.
Malachite was Grokus's, like, who Grokus thought was the coolest when he found out he was a spy. Like, Grokus fanboyed super hard. Like, when he's like, oh my gosh. So, yeah. Malachite was safe.
But also, he brought this, like, I don't know, this is kind of Joe just himself too, but like this like dry sense of humor that was a really good foil to all of the shenaniganery that was going on,
Yes.
which we really needed.
Yes. I do feel like after Joe's departure, things got a little crazier, for sure.
Who can say? He's just gonna have to come back for another one.
But the Shannon was great too. Daisy May, that was such an emotional arc to the whole, to really kick things off with a bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That courtyard battle.
bang.
It wasn't a courtyard. It was a It was wild. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a courtyard,
It was
right?
just in
Yeah.
an alley.
It was a
Doc.
dock.
Okay.
Dockside
Didn't we make
battle.
Yeah, that
Daisy
was
make
a
a
dog
like new head of the
Yeah,
Oh,
Daisy.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good
Criminal
plot point.
Underground
Daisy
now.
May.
Yeah.
Daisy May ended up taking over one of the lieutenant spots in the Three Blades, albeit as a I'm going to work from the inside, sort of thing. So she became an ally later in the game as well, for sure.
Well, and of course, we're extremely grateful that Jeremy and Meland were there to help us
That's great.
rescue Artemis.
Oh, and ARP, right? Was that ARP too? Was that? Yeah.
Yeah,
our
thing-
you mean the thing that we
Natural
like never
devices.
used?
I
We
gave you
used
the
what?
strongest homebrew magic
Well,
item.
because
and you
like
did
we were
not
like,
use it.
what if we really need it later? That oh my god, I forgot about that in the final fight. We absolutely could have used that. Oh,
Could
whatever.
have used it.
Peeny's
Oh,
still
wow.
sitting on hers, like
Was it
forever.
not in the final fight that we did? Because I know that there was a point where we remembered all of a sudden we had them, but like...
At some point. At some point.
Oh,
That's okay,
man.
though. Oh, man. All right. Well, as we bring the balancers to a conclusion here, and thank everybody for watching this epilogue and kind of listening to us ramble about story and characters, we'll just go around one more time and final thoughts or a word that comes to mind or anything you want to say here for goodbyes. We'll do Dana, Darby, Blake, Cheryl, me.
Final thoughts. I'm gonna miss playing these characters with these people because our chemistry was incredible, and I feel like there was still more story to tell, and who knows, there might be one-shots in the future. But yeah, I'm gonna miss it.
This was probably one of the longest games I've ever played. I've played a lot of one-shots. I've done a lot of short campaigns, and I've played a lot of campaigns that weren't supposed to be short campaigns, but for other reasons, they ended. Peony will always have a special place in my heart, and I'm so grateful that you reached out to me when you did, and then I said yes. And it was supposed to be, like you said earlier, it was supposed to be a quick little 12 episode little thing, and then it turned out to be, I mean, here we are playing 4 years later?
Yep. New
something
campaign,
like that.
but still playing together, yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
still playing together, and I
Homebrew.
am-
It's not a show, everybody.
Yeah.
So, or home game. Home game. Yeah.
I released the episodes later. I've been recording them secretly. I'm kidding. You won't
Monetize
believe
it.
what I say in that recording.
Bootleg.
Oh my god.
I'm kidding. It's me.
You're
I
That's
say
actually
a lot of
happened to me
messed up
one
stuff.
Oh god.
Okay, we're gonna need that story afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, and I will always remember this game very, very fondly.
Aw. Blake, final thoughts.
Well, it gave me something to be happy for social media about, because that's how I was able to find out about this. So if I could say one good thing about social media is that it brought us together. So there's always good and bad to everything. So there's that. And then yeah, it's still a sad thing about how Grogu's story is done, because he was such a fun character. It's fun to think about. So it's like, oh man, he's done now. But I'm glad the way that things happened the way they did. And I guess the final thing I would say is that I hope everyone's character can have a balanced rest of the day, as Grogu would like to say. So, yeah.
I love that. I've missed hearing that. Oh, and Cheryl.
Crocus is ahead of the times, going, have a very balanced day. It's
Grogu started that. What is this?
By the time this
That's
comes
gonna
out,
be
it's
so
6
not
7
cool,
so
but,
done.
Never, baby. It's gonna live for 6 or 7 years.
Hey. Oh no.
Oh no. She's still dabbing.
Yeah, she is.
Oh my gosh.
Am I supposed to be saying stuff now?
You're
Is that-
supposed to be next. Yep.
Yeah.
We're a well-oiled
that
machine.
Detour, absolutely.
Totally.
We're so on top of this. I would just like to say that I am so grateful for the opportunity to play with all of you. It was a wonderful chance to explore a different character and use a character voice that Andrew had a terrible time understanding when it was really important. Usually only when it was really important. But anyway,
Yep.
yes. I love all of you dearly, and it has been such a wonderful experience. I wish it could continue forever.
Love it. Yeah, no, I mean, what Darby said about there's been a lot of games that end early when they meant to go long. I think this one is the only one I've ever had that was meant to end early and then went long. And I think, with that comes really the reality that, like, through telling this story, I made some lifelong friends. And I've made friends that I can't wait to make more things with and tell more stories. And that time is coming very soon as the wheels begin spinning again. But no, The Balancers was a super fun story that challenged me as a DM to like keep things like fresh and keep things moving and find new ways to tell stories. And I think that all the characters were very unexpected in different ways, which is such a testament to you all. And so super fun, really solidified for me, like, why I love telling stories this way and playing this game, like, for groups like this. And it's funny because, like, Joe, who's known me the longest because we went to film school together, told me something like just recently. We were talking about D&D and stuff. And he's like, yeah, because I think I made a mention about like it's been 7 years since we've started all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, I thought this was going to be another one of your like 6 months you're really into it, and then like when we started playing D&D way back when. And I was like, first of all, ouch. Second of all, I'm glad that's not the case. I'm glad we're still doing it here all these years later. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. And, I know that, at least at the time of recording this, our audience is very small, but it's also very much appreciated. Like, every single person who's taken the time to watch even one of our episodes, we make this stuff to share it. So thank you so much for coming on the journey. Have a balanced day, and we will see you sometime, maybe again, in the Kingdom of Alsan.